growth numbers at the same time that you've got a 10-year yield below 1.5.
Right, hello everyone. Welcome to today's stream. Today is 13th of June, and we want to get started with the market open. Let's see what happens. We have basically 20 minutes before the market open, and it will be interesting to see how it will all turn out today, based on some of the recent momentum movement that we had. Let's see if we can keep that momentum up or we are actually giving up on that. I think we are all set. So let's start with the first thing. Okay, we before getting into the sticks, let's actually look at these guys.
Blew it away. Golf section, apparel section. I talked to Foot Locker CEO a couple weeks ago. They're selling out of footwear. So, I mean, the consumer's out there spending in a big way.
All right, and we'll again have that data 8:30 tomorrow morning. Retail sales set to hit the tape. All right, as promised, we will talk about Elon Musk's tweets over the weekend, which I believe we have loaded up here from the Wi-Fi Interactive. Musk talking about the future of Tesla accepting Bitcoin as a payment. Here you go. Elon Musk catching flag. This is from Coin Telegraph. What we have seen, okay, so we've got some manipulation there with Musk's tweets. I believe there was a tweet from Musk himself. There you go. So we sold 10% of our holdings to confirm that Bitcoin could be liquidated easily. When there's confirmation of 50% clean energy usage by miners with positive future trend, Tesla will resume allowing Bitcoin transactions. So I don't know. I don't find Elon Musk tweeting about Bitcoin all that interesting, but I do find Tesla's involvement with Bitcoin interesting in this respect. As the Journal notes this morning in a front page story, the challenges of holding Bitcoin on your balance sheet for a corporation are many. Namely, it can only be marked down in value unless you sell it. So I kind of think, guys, the more that this story goes on, I sort of suspect that Tesla didn't know that before they bought Bitcoin and didn't know that they couldn't mark up the value of Bitcoin if they held it on their balance sheet and the value of the coins went up, and that they would be forced to actually do the opposite were the price of Bitcoin over any one quarter to fall below their most recent cost basis, and that only when they sold Bitcoin would they be able to realize a gain on the value of their Bitcoin holdings. And I kind of think that as the current, because it's an indefinitely, I forget the exact term that the Journal has there, but the way that Bitcoin is classified on the balance sheet, again, makes it such that you can only mark it down in value unless you sell it for a profit, and then you can realize that profit. And I think until that changes, Julie, that complicates things for companies that are accumulating Bitcoin on the balance sheet as something like basically an investment account or an investment gain. You cannot recognize it as an investment gain.
Yeah, that would seem to be a problem, one would think. I mean, and I'm just looking again at the Bitcoin chart. Do you guys remember exactly when Musk said first that they were going to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet? I'm blanking on the exact date of that. You guys remember off the top of your head?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, in any case, if you look at the Bitcoin chart, right, and you look at the range that we have seen, and again, my drawing apologies, you know, obviously, like over the past few months, we have seen more of February. There you go. I mean, and yes, we had the run up, but then we've had mostly downside for it. So even if they were going to try and take advantage of the upside, that would be tricky to do because we've seen Bitcoin pretty much come full circle since Tesla took its position in it. So I don't know. It's just the volatility alone on a balance sheet, even if you were going to mark it up and down, would sort of be a nightmare.
Yeah, and you want to know the power of Elon Musk and Bitcoin. I mean, just hop over to the Yahoo Finance trending ticker page, and you see Dogecoin popping, Bitcoin, one of the top trending tickers on our website, along with Riot Blockchain. So it could be an interesting morning for that space. But Julie, I really like your drawing skills. Maybe you can draw a Dogecoin dog over my face. What do you got? Can you do it real time?
That I can't do.
All right, maybe tomorrow.
Bitcoin and other digital assets. Bitcoin and other digital assets are considered indefinite-lived intangible assets on the balance sheet of a company. They are not investments and they are not currencies. I mean, I guess if I were lobbying for regulatory changes and I were, speaking on behalf of the crypto space in general, maybe I'd like to get that changed because, I mean, I don't think that the idea of holding Bitcoin on your balance sheet to then recognize the gain in the value of, some of your cash or equivalent holdings is necessarily a bad strategy. The problem is that it just literally cannot be done right now, given how those assets are classified. And so we always hear that, crypto folks want to welcome regulatory changes. Well, that might be one that would, make it more attractive for this balance sheet adoption meme, which we all heard so much about in the winter when Tesla first did that, to really become true. Remember, we had guests on saying every company is going to have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. I think given the accounting difficulties around that, does not seem likely that this is going to be happening anytime soon. All right, coming up on the other side of this break, we're going to talk a bit more about billionaires like Elon Musk and some others.
All right, so that was interesting. Of course, we all know about the effects of Elon and Tesla's comments about Bitcoin, but I mean, let's just start with some of the pre-market that is happening. I mean, right off the bat, you can see Riot, Mara, and Can are actually the three mining ones are actually up there, 9%. I mean, almost 10%, 9.5%, and 6.7%. Not to mention that the Bitcoin itself is, let's check how much is Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is up right now 3.4%. So obviously that's a trend. Those were some of the effects that got from the comments from Tesla that in the future, after confirmation of the renewable energy usage in mining Bitcoin, actually they're gonna start reusing or allowing Bitcoin to be used for their car purchases or other stuff. But I wonder if that is actually helping to move the renewable energy up in that sense. But let's go on through, let's see some of the winners. We have SRNE. This is, I think, had some news on some FDA approval, received authorization from UK regulatory agency to conduct phase 2 trial for COVID drops in outpatient settings. So that actual news already moved the stock to almost 8%. I have to say that when we were at this point, because like from a technical point of view, I was thinking of getting a position, but after the earning miss, I thought that people would just go crazy on it and it will go lower. And well, obviously that became very fast into light that it wasn't correct. But anyway, I never try to chase anything. So let's wait for a drop and then get back into it if needed. But this is actually one of those stocks that have been discussed to be rallying like 40-50% by some analysts, and not just the typical hedge funds. Some of the analysts that I actually look up to, people that actually do some interesting analysis on fundamentally about the stocks. But anyway, AMC is up 6%. For me, AMC, if I want to have a look at 1 hour chart, so you can actually for AMC form some sort of a movement like this. So you can see that this is actually somehow breaking out from this basically triangle. So we can see that this is actually going up. I wouldn't be surprised if we are moving up today, especially we had some news about the fact that Jim Cramer was talking about the fact that AMC is gonna have a movement upward. So that is about that one. And yeah, so let's see what happens today. We have coin actually moving, Coinbase moving a little bit up, not much, actually 2.5%. I would say today the main movements are related to, at least for now, for the pre-market, is related to Bitcoin and the mining basically stocks. We have some typical, like I guess because of the AMC move, you have Workhorse and some of the momentum stocks there as well. VALE is actually one of the interesting ones that I'm looking at. Let's check if we have some news. No, nothing really. But this is actually one of the stocks that I think is in a up movement. Oh, sorry. In long term, this is in an up movement trend. It's just that I was expecting, like I took a trade here and I actually sold up here. So I already took that trade, but I knew that after this there will be some sort of resistance, so I immediately took my profit out. So very fast for my case, but I actually was, at least for my own trade, I was hoping that this will come back more. It didn't, so yeah, we have to wait and see what happens there. Yeah. Right, so let's see what else do we have. We have Fisker, we have Gevo, you have SunPower, Tattooed Chef. These are basically the pre-market gainers, and let's have a look at the losers. OCGN, again another 5%. Fuel Cell, Nintendo is actually down. I'm wondering why. Let's check that. Nintendo, it's here. Japanese share each higher. Shiba after brand director. Not really, but then we have Clove a little bit lower, Moderna same, GLD, which is the gold basically trust, Ideanomics, and so on. Not really pronounced movements in either side really. I think the stocks are mostly on around 1% up and down, even 0.5%. So I guess we can wait and see a little bit more clear movement maybe today after the market open. Let's check some news here.
The lengths to which billionaires will go to not pay that full tax rate. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks that those people don't have enough excess cash. All right, Andy, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We are going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to have the run up to the opening bell. Not much change here in the futures this morning, but there's some interesting movers that we are going to bring you. Stay with us. Change here in the futures this morning, but there's some interesting.
So for me, today I'm actually really looking forward to adding to some of the plays. Just a second, I want to clear something up on the stream so that we are actually have a correct tag there. Right. So I was actually looking at some basically data. I of course do not have a Seeking Alpha subscription anymore, so I took this picture from there, and this is related to the basically some of the stocks that they believed will have a better chance for the rest of the year to be moving and have some rally ahead. So I thought that we can actually have a look at some of these plays. Sorry about the quality, but for example, Chromecast from Communication Services, I think Activision, T-Mobile, and Chromecast are the main ones. Then eBay, some other names that Home Depot, we have Coke, basically, Monster Beverage, we have Consumer Staples, we have those, healthcare, we have Align Technologies, we have Gilead, and then from Industrious we have, what else? RHI, we have Triple G, we have AOS, MasterCard in the Infotech, Garner is a consulting company, Ansys is a software company, and Skyworks, another one. From materials, Steel Dynamics is at least the one that I'm following, and some of the real estate things. I think today we will have a look at them if time allows us. So we will go through that and try to figure out which ones are the ones that basically worth looking into. But let's quickly have a look at some of the main. We have basically 3 minutes, so not too much time actually. Let's go to the market open, maybe prepare ourselves for that one, and No impacts more likely to be felt overseas. Okay. Let's check if we have some upgrades. Wendy's got an upgrade. We will have a look at that. Yeah, CVA as well. Initiate coverage. Do you have some upgrade? Nothing really like that. Let's have a listen to Kevin. Let's see if there is anything interesting from his point of view. But Mara is shooting up, guys.
And if you do have questions,
I still think that Mara is the better choice between Riot and Mara, but again, you can diversify between those two. I'm still not convinced that like Bitcoin is gonna go back up. I hope it goes, but I think I'm gonna wait a bit before getting back into Mara. I actually believe that Bitcoin will have a rally and then go back down again, but we talk about that if you're interested then later on.
what are you talking about? Are you talking about like DraftKings and sports betting? I'm a big fan of sports betting and DraftKings. Yeah, so I'm not sure what you're asking there. So okay. All right, let me quickly grab Coin and AMC here. Let's see what we got. So AMC right now is showing as a percent of float, short 13.47%. Yeah, that's pretty much consistent with what we had last week. I'm generally looking for inflection points. We'll pull this up again in just a moment, though. Do want to take a peek at the pre-market quickly again here. We've got 30 seconds to go, just so we can see what we have possibly coming up for the day here. So we've got...
I think the main movements today is really around Bitcoin moving. In the pre-market, the Tesla news really helped with that. Then we have also waiting for Mara and Riot, and now we have the bell. So let's get rid of this one and let's see if we can something. Okay, Mara and Riot are coming back a little bit. They immediately went to 7.5, but too soon to say anything. AMC. Do we have something on AMC? So AMC is keeping at 5% for now. Let's have a look at 1 minute. Not a clear sign yet, but in my opinion, based on the recent news, AMC is gonna go up today. It just okay, now it's moving. Should we take a trade actually on? Let me just open up my Toro account. Let's see if I can make a trade out of this one. Let me just get rid of this. I want my 20 moving average shown here. Okay, it's a little bit extended to my taste, but let's have a look at it here at AMC. Right, I want to have here and then 1 minute. 1 minute. All right. So here I want to open my AMC here and let's see. Okay, it's going down a bit. So here's my point. If it passes here, I'm gonna take the position in it, and then I'm gonna put my stop loss here, 51.46. So this will be my stop loss here. If it passes up here, then I'm gonna take a position in it. It went, I took it. Let's see. Let's see how the momentum works here for us.
We want to see volume generally over 2 to 3 million consistently on the minute chart.
Move, baby. Move up, baby. We are having this selling pressure now. There's nothing we can do right now. We just have to wait. So here's how it goes. This is my stop point. This is where no matter what, I'm gonna be out of the trade. So maybe I have to put then if it moves up, then if there is one red, I'm gonna add a little bit to it at the next take point. This is my market open kind of really quick trading scheme. Another way is that if I'm gonna basically here is 4.2, so around 8% or something like that, I'm gonna take my money out, but it's not really looking as strong. I expected a little bit stronger movement here because it just pushed up, but let's see what happens. That's not good. 1, 2 minutes. So this is still here. This is 0. Yeah, I'm now negative. I'm negative. Yeah. Yeah, the movement is slowing down. You can see it here. The movement is slowing down. So this is actually the second point. Usually after this, it's reasonable to add to it, but I don't think this is gonna move, at least for the time frame that I'm looking for. I mean, I'm looking at 1 minute chart, and I only now trade it with 1 minute chart. It doesn't matter if it in longer time frame, if it's going up or down. I'm not gonna hold this.
Very nice bar on Tesla. Tesla will be, somebody left me a comment yesterday. In fact, I screenshotted it, and I thought it was pretty funny. And I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna save this. It's gonna be a little memento. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh, and while I pull that up, I got one of the free stocks I got yesterday from Webull was $43, which I'm like, all right, that's awesome. But yeah, they give, when you sign up for Webull, you get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850, and they're as low as like $8. And so the $40 ones, I got 2 in a row.
Yeah, guys, the momentum is not actually where I want it to be. it's obviously going that probably for a push, and I am out. Okay, I went positive. I have my hand on the closed trade. But yeah. There's definitely a resistance there. It doesn't move up there. If it breaks up that one, then I will be very happy. Yeah, sorry, I'm out. I'm out for this one. Wasn't a successful one, but actually I was also a little bit screwed by the high density. Now it moves up. Now it's moving up. The movement is not where I want it to be, so yeah. It's been actually one of my first losses that I didn't wait for the stop loss to be taken over. So I don't know, usually you have to be disciplined, you have to wait for your stop loss. It's just that I mean, the trade wasn't really the way I wanted it to be. This is extremely momentum based, and I didn't see it to happen, so I just thought that maybe at this point I can get out of it. But yeah, let's have a look at other stuff. I should have gone for Mara. Mara had the clear move today, but yeah, too late about that. So if it was for Mara, this would have been my this would have been my point to take, and then I've already been moving 5%. Yeah, the wrong stock. But what can we do? I mean, AMC still could run up today. It's not that it's not gonna run up, but yeah. Should we take another one in SRNE? Let's go to SRNE. It's actually slowing down as well. Man, either of these would have been much better choice than the AMC or a trade. This is 3.6%. Yeah, still. I mean, if I wanted to choose again, I probably should have gone with SRNE. What? Why was my PayPal position? Did I have a take profit? I had a take profit on PayPal. Oh, my mistake. Right, so this is actually going down. Let's have a look. How is the market moving? Let's look at some of the losers. Moderna, 6%. FuelCell, Microvision, GME, OCGN, Woozy, Wafer. Why Wafer is down? DraftKings. let's have a look at them at a little bit longer time frame. That's better. Right, so what are the movers? NDX is 7% up. I'm not going to take a trade in that one. That's a German renewable, like wind energy. Coin is plus 5%. Good for that. BNGO is coming back up. Is it? I mean, in the longer time frame, BNGO is almost closing down. So you can see it's converging to the other line. But on the shorter time frame, it still needs to come back and then go up. So I'm not really convinced into getting any position into that one. Okay, Square is going up. That is one of the ones that we were looking into. And we have actually this trend line. It once got bounced. Let's see if it does again. Honestly speaking, the momentum looks really in the direction of like in upward direction. So that could mean that basically we can expect more upward movement than lower in these stocks. Let's see, how was PayPal? I remember that I had a trade on PayPal, but I stopped it. I even removed my thing there. But oh. Anyway, what can you do? What else are we moving today? Doyu's actually. This is actually one of those ones that has been beaten down heavily. And I might actually think of this one as a good trade opportunity. Like it's here, and so what I want from this, I can see that this one maybe goes back up, but what I want to see is that in the longer time frame, this thing crosses up, and then the shorter time also crosses up, and there we might end up somewhere even above 200 EMA, and that's for me a much better position to take into. And Root Car Insurance. Let's see what Kevin is saying.
So here we go. We've got Workhorse at 42.7, Geo 36.8, On Track, Fulgent Genetics, PetMed, GoGo. Here's Esperion again, ESPR Therapeutics, Clovis, Bed Bath, Lemonade. Lemonade, Virgin Galactic. These guys over here in the higher or in the lower 20s here. There you go. Oh, there's AMC right here, sitting right now at. See, that's interesting. Here they show it at 19. Hold on a second. Why do they show it at 19 there? Hold on. Oh, this is AMC Networks. Duh. Okay, that makes sense. AMC itself. Yeah, that chart looked too different. There we go. Yeah, okay. Oh, look, it ticked up a tiny little bit. It just revised up from 13.4 to 14.5. This literally just updated here.
I'm looking at the fact that these are actually some of the long positions that, like, these are some of the stocks that I basically like to add, but I only add at certain range. These are not strict points for me. But the idea is that I add to these positions. Of course, some of them are more interesting for me, really like a Square, Etsy, Qualcomm. Let's have a look at Qualcomm, actually. I forgot. My goodness. Qualcomm. This is moving up. This is moving up. Why my Qualcomm was out of this. Anyway, it's 1%. It's not that much yet, But this one actually seems to be an interesting position. I mean, for me, let's remove this one. What I'm thinking is that you can basically see that the long-term time frame, the weekly, is actually like at the end of its low trend, and it has been consolidating between this range somehow. So somehow between this range and yeah, maybe this is actually a good trade to take, but I'm thinking of Qualcomm actually for a longer term. I thought that at this point we will get back somewhere here to 120s, and then I can actually build up my position better. But obviously the recent up movement has been much more dominant than we anticipated. But then again, I'm very much invested myself, so I don't have that much cash available, so I'm not really jumping into trades, although Qualcomm would have been really good. I don't know. Let's see how the days go. Moderna, what is happening with Moderna? Is it because of this one of the things recently was that there were some adverse reactions on these mRNA kind of vaccines. So maybe that is one of those reasons. I don't see it here, but yeah. mRNA, Moderna. Switzerland, coronavirus vaccine for developed countries. So this is the one. Europe reports rare cases of heart inflammation linked to all COVID-19 vaccines, especially the mRNA ones, and this has been seen in boys at the age of from like I think 8 to 20, something like that. So younger boys were affected more than young girls, but it was mostly seen in younger people than older ones. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, let's get back to our list. Let's check Tesla, NIO actually. Okay, Tesla has broke this one actually. How about NIO and XPEV or XPeng? Well, 1.5, they're going up. This is actually a resistant point for NIO. I don't think we're gonna be stopped that easily, but who knows. XPEV, oh, XPEV. Okay, so XPEV actually, it is coming down a bit. Oh, let's have a look at Twilio. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for this one as well. Nothing in that. Let's check.
I know. Just not owning it. Blah blah blah. NFT thing is something I still work to understand. I think it is neat to say you own something though, especially if it's like it like has a historical significance. I think there's something cool about that, or something that's part of like a moment. I think there's some cool features to that. But anyway, Clove here. Clove heading back into the gutter, unfortunately. Clover down 8.5%. Let's go ahead and pull up the short interest on Clove here. Right-clicking NFTs and saving them. Clover Health still sitting at 43% short. Yeah. All right, what else do we have here? So let's take a Beanie Baby NFT. Yeah, that'd be plenty to do. All right, what do we got here? Build-A-Bear sitting up about 4.9%. AMC, a little bit of a soft.
I actually don't see a very clear move. Okay, Sumo is coming down. All right. This is actually one of the stocks that I don't want to sell, at least till these levels. So I'm not going to sell anything right now. Anyway, I'm only 3% up now. Crowd, how's crowd doing? Crowd is actually meeting some resistance at this point. It's coming back. Same thing. Let's see if check for Cloudflare. Cloudflare. This is going places. It's up 0.5, so I don't know. Not clear yet. I mean, you could actually see that many of the stocks moved up from their this downtrends. Nothing for sure. I mean, honestly, like this one, I really wanted this to have a little bit like. This means that you basically do not have a big enough retracement yet. And when it happened here, I wanted this basically to come back at these levels, 28 or even 270s in that range, 260s, sorry. But yeah, market doesn't care about your feeling. What is that? Next generation learning? Yeah, that's not really what we are looking for, at least right now. Let's check some of the news. Nothing new here. And all right, let's get back to checking the stocks that we were looking. Shopify. This is one of the things I wanted to. I mean, Shopify actually is moving up. Should I go? This is almost 1300. I mean, technically, this is now looking good. We have had the cross, we have had the second cross, and start of today, we should have taken our position. And it's really near the resistance. I mean, I'm not really comfortable with taking this trade now because everything looks good except the fact that, of course, none of these crosses are below the zero line. But this is actually the gain. I mean, of course, you can break out. But since you have resistance here and then your downtrend is here, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable, but the sentiment is up, but I'm not gonna go for that. Let's check something. Yeah, AMC hasn't moved really clearly after we took the trade, and of course Mara and Riot are moving up. That was a mistake from my side anyway. I should have gone with the one with more momentum in it. So but AMC had some news coming over. I don't know. What is Kevin saying?
Talk about Lordstown.
Ooh, Lordstown.
Fed talk coming up. Rally and bond market seem to lose steam as investors prepared for the FOMC meeting this week. Big expectation this week is talking about tapering. So we'll see what kind of forecast we get from Jerome Powell. 10-year yields here. Bouncing off a 1.4 technical support, they say here. Very interesting. They're calling it a resistance, but whatever. We know what they mean.
It's up actually today.
Okay. So, yeah, that means our 10-year did drop over there. Let's see here. 10-year treasury. Did it really bounce off on? Oh, wow. Let's go to 5-day. I don't personally see the drop to 1.4. Maybe they saw it, or the chart was just too small. But a little bit of a run here on the 10-year yield. Worries. People get nervous around Fed speak time. We already know what he's going to say. You know, path of the economy is dependent upon the course of the virus. Things are bad, but they're getting better. Blah, blah, blah. Elon Musk says he's putting his last remaining house on the market. Bitcoin jumps after Musk says Tesla will use. Will use. I like how they just say will use.
Chewy is actually still going down. We wanted to add to this one. If it broke out here, it didn't. And then, of course, it started to give another, basically a sell signal. But I'm not going to sell Chewy. I'm going to keep it there. It's interesting. It had a very good, basically, earning report. But they mentioned that their cost for the labor gonna be higher, probably due to higher wages, and that basically drove the market actually completely down. So something that, of course, people expect that affects on the future earnings of the company. But I think Chewy is in a fantastic position. I mean, look, people think that this is okay. Let's before talking about Chewy, let's listen to this part of them.
And offer their initiations here on the stock.
Yeah, you're seeing the shares under pressure here in the early going today, down about 3%. Quiet period is now over, so analysts could start publishing their research. And overall, the mood on the street seems to be pretty bullish. You had Jefferies out this morning with a $34 price target and an overweight rating on the stock, pointing to a potential, and Miles, I know you'll dig this, $900 billion TAM, or total addressable market opportunity for Oatly, I would assume, as they take share away from traditional cows, udders, milk. But then you also have Piper out with an overweight rating too as well, $30 price target. They're noting a 30 to 40% price premium for Oatly products versus other competing products, and still strong sales. So that, in other words, is evidence of pricing power. Whether Oatly can maintain that pricing power as more folks like a Chobani comes into the space with cheaper prices is to be determined. And even RBC, they're out here with their sector perform rating here, $28 price target. They still see Oatly at a 70% growth rate, compound annual growth rate over the next 3 years. And a good quote here from our friend Laurent Grande over at Guggenheim. Quote, "We think Oatly is uniquely positioned with a defensible market position thanks to an emphasis on sustainability," that's always good to see, "a science-based and manufacturing competitive advantage, and a disruptive marketing with a unique in-your-face brand message to challenge the status quo." Certainly in-your-face marketing there for the Super Bowl, and CEO Tony Peterson last go-around definitely drove a lot of attention. So my take here on this one is pretty straightforward. Capacity expansion is needed for profits. Oatly lost a little over $60 million last year. They're putting a lot of those IPO proceeds into building out new manufacturer plants. So you don't see the out of stocks in oat milk that our producer Val Caval has been talking about at Starbucks over the past few weeks. Also, too, ESG friendly stock in Oatly. And bigger picture here, is Oatly the next Beyond Meat-like stock? Beyond Meat came public in May 2019. The stock is up 500% since that company's IPO. That is their IPO price. It was at $25. Oatly shares up 69% since they debuted last month. So a long way to catch up to Beyond Meat. Time will tell if it does.
I feel like at this point it almost can't be the next Beyond Meat because the stock didn't go up like 4x in the first 3 days. So it's already lost out. On that one. I will never forget when Beyond Meat went public. Had never heard of it, wasn't thinking of it, was out at Berkshire, and all of a sudden there was a stock that had tripled in its first day of trading or whatever that stock ended up doing. I think Zoom went public at right around the same time. So just an interesting period there for markets back in the halcyon days of 2019. All right, off for a short break here. On the other side, a lot more on this Monday morning. Stocks mixed ahead of a big week in news, retail sales tomorrow, and the Fed, of course, on Wednesday. Back with more coming up.
Actually, the retail sales can be a very good indication of a large portion of the market, especially again if the market is overheating, as our lovely hedges want us to believe. So that is about that. But there was one thing else. Okta was the other stock that I wanted to check. Okay, now it's going up. All right. I did not establish a position there because it didn't trigger. Yeah. Let's look at JD. Ooh, JD is coming down again. So you see it bounced here, 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 and it's in this downtrend. I have some buy positions ready at this point. I mean, one of the stocks that I have the highest conviction in it is JD. Fantastic business model, fantastic record still now. At least 20% growth for the next 4 or 5 years is guaranteed for this excellent company. And the only thing, of course, is that it's in China, so that can actually bring a lot of questions. But JD is still in China, does fantastic. The record shows, I think JD and Baba's are really in good positions. Speaking of Alibaba, let's check them. Okay, after this, I was expecting this to move back. I mean, not really. I mean, here should have been a better one. Vive. Yeah, so again, let's look at some of the main movers. We have Mara, Riot, Can. Okay, AMC went up. Okay, so AMC moved up. Sarni went down. BNGO is moving up again. So we have Coinbase, Square. Square is, I don't know, it just feels that the Square will move up, break this one. I don't know why I feel like that. It just, the momentum, I mean, it's just too much for now, but let's see. Let's see. Actually quite green day today. It's Alteryx is actually moving up again. I'm in this trade still. I'm aiming for this 88. And probably I will take out my profit at 88, and then I will accumulate again if it comes back down. What is Teladoc doing? It's up almost 2%, but again, that is also getting rejected right now at this point. So it has been moving in this down channel for a while now, since really March. CRM, the same thing. Datadog, I think, was one of the things that was giving some signal of moving up here. So I mean, I can see actually take a position here. How much is actually out of my, which, let me check that. So for a long position, I mean, my trade would have been triggered here, and then this will be my stop loss. Then I will have 1.5 here. Actually, it already moved so much higher. If it comes back, I'm gonna keep this here. If it moves back, I'm gonna get back to Datadog. Maybe 93 is a good point. Let's go here, Dog, and I have it in my list tree. Let's look at my list tree, Datadog. here, and price target at 93. Better 92. So this one will give me an alarm actually, or alert when it goes down. Okay, Sumo is moving down. What happened to Sumo? Yeah. All right. What else? What else should we have a look right now? We have Pinterest, Shopify, Zillow, Mara, and Upwork, Crowd.com, Qualcomm. Sorry. Again, let's have a look at Qualcomm. Okay, it got rejected actually here. Amazon. Yeah. Ooh. Twitter, Cloudflare. Moderna. I don't know. I'm really interested into getting into Moderna, but not at these prices. Not at these prices. These are just too high. How about Fuel Cell? Yeah. Well, as I said, Fuel Cell, these guys actually had their run recently quite much, so we can still wait a bit before you get another position. Don't think this is a problem for. Let's have a look at this.
Term structural bear case for financial assets, most notably stocks and lower quality fixed income type assets against that backdrop. And while you can have periods like we've had for the big cap tech leaders where you have flat market for 6 months, I mean, even look at 2014 to 16, the market kind of went nowhere for a couple of years, and it was a very painful period. But right now, with the economy growing and monetary policy remaining easy, it is just very challenging to look at these types of shorter term data, these one-off data events, and get excited about a tough period for the market. And I just think that's worth reiterating as we come into, again, a big week for not only that data, but Fed commentary with that announcement and then presser on Wednesday.
And Miles, important to point out, too, for new viewers, our senior Fed correspondent, Brian Chung, was born in 1993. But, I did want to know, curious what you think about this, Miles. You're looking at low rates, really, for the next 5 years. I mean, we have so much focus on the dot plots this week. Perhaps the Fed raises rates at some point in 2023. Even still, that's still a pretty fertile backdrop for stocks. I mean, it's not like rates are going up to 6-7% anytime soon.
I mean, I don't think that whenever this rate hike cycle gets underway, any of us think it'll look much different from the 15 to 18 cycle, right? You had one hike a year for 15 and 16. Then you had, I guess, what was it? It was a hike each quarter from Q4 17 through the fourth quarter of 2018. And then you had, or the third quarter of 2018, and then you had the reversal. The Fed started announcing that it would likely cut its interest rate in the beginning of 2019. Then it eventually did cut interest rates in 2019. And so I think that, we'll find out what the market can handle or be comfortable with when we get to, 1.25%, on the Fed funds rate. But yeah, Sazi, I don't think anybody believes that we're looking at, 5% Fed funds rate, given this backdrop, because we're very quickly here going to move from, the economy's expanding into all those demographic headwinds we all came to learn so well during the second half of the last cycle.
And as we talk about all of this, I'm thinking about another period in history, the one in more recent history, when some governments around the world, particularly in Europe, were talking austerity, and obviously the pandemic threw all of that into disarray. And that is my segue to talk about the G7. And as we hear the global leaders talk about what their plans are, their focus now is on rebuilding their economies, and moving past the COVID crisis. Ed Mills is here to help us make sense of what they've been saying. Raymond James, Washington policy analyst. I mentioned at the top of the show that one analyst, and that was Paul Donovan over at UBS, called it the selfie summit, sort of deridingly, right? And I'm curious what you thought of it in terms of what substantive came out of it.
Yeah, I would not kind of dismiss the kind of last couple of days or this week. I think this is actually a very well choreographed event. We had the G7 meeting, now we have NATO, and then the president is going to meet with the president of Russia, Putin, and it is kind of trying to lay the groundwork for a return to more traditional alliances of the United States with the rest of the world, that post-World War II traditional order. As well as kind of dig deeper into what President Biden has called the fight between democracies and autocracies, and trying to see what he can do to boost up the democracy, boost up NATO, and present the United States in a kind of more traditional, forceful role for the world.
What do you think is going to be most important to markets from all of this, Ed? I mean, is it just a matter of that the sort of unpredictability and turmoil of the last administration that markets can almost safely ignore? Maybe ignore is too strong a word, but at least not be as obsessively focused on politics. Yeah,
Julie, I think the market is still going to look at these meetings quite closely. We probably removed some of the wild card events. I think the first thing that the market will look at is what does the NATO alliance look like under President Biden? How much does the other countries continue to commit to fulfilling their defense spending initiatives? And how much does the United States spend on defense? I think secondly, it looks at how much does the United States get to re-change the conversation related to China. We've seen a number of hawkish stances from the Biden administration, continuing a lot of the stances of the Trump administration. He's trying to convince Europe to come along. I think Europe is receptive, but is not as committed to the United States of a hawkish stance. And then when the president sits down with President Putin, they will be looking to see how well that conversation goes. How much do we have to continue to be concerned about cyber attacks, ransomware attacks, especially as those attacks are focused on the reopening trade. We had an impact on fuel, an impact on food, an impact on some travel. Does that continue, or does that get ramped up? Or is President Biden able to convince President Putin, if he continues down this track, there are real consequences, and therefore some of this slows? So those are three real important market impacts from this week's meetings.
And Ed, I want to go back to that U.S.-China, the status of U.S.-China relations, because as you mentioned,
I generally think this U.S.-China relation gonna have a huge effect, and basically the fact that many of these Chinese stocks are actually having very good balance sheets, very good fundamentals, and a lot of growth ahead of them, but always this this fear that, hey, it's China and maybe something happens between United States and China. This really is oppressing the prices, and I actually think that the companies will survive anyway. I mean, of course, it has an effect. There is a huge market in United States, and the fact that if it gets banned by United States, then it will be affected. But still, some of them are really good companies. I mean, I cannot see a scenario where these companies do not succeed. Maybe in short term something happens and they actually go down, but I always see them as another buying opportunity. At least this is my take on the US-China kind of positioning that is happening right now.
Essentially asking U.S. companies to choose between following the law of the United States or following the law of China. That's not going to be a choice they have. They are going to have to follow the law of the United States if they want to avoid criminal penalties. So this kind of relationship is going down a path of great confrontation. I think we are going to see an increase in the conversation about the decoupling and more conversations about are we going into another Cold War between these two economies. I think we probably need the relationship to deteriorate a little bit more before either side really ramps this up. But directionally, this has absolutely continued what started under the Trump administration, and you could see some of these policies have more bite as they get fleshed out under the Biden administration.
That's a really interesting way to put it, weaponizing the capital markets. I just want to finish, Ed, bringing it more domestically focused and ask about the latest on infrastructure, especially with the president now out of the country. What should we expect next? You know, investors have been pouring money into various companies they expect to benefit from an infrastructure bill, and I don't know when we're going to get it.
Yeah, I think, Julie, we're going to get it by the end of the year. I think that's where the market wants. They would have preferred it earlier, but anytime you're talking about timing in DC, betting that it's going to take longer is usually a fair bet. Even though the president is outside of the United States, he's still talking about infrastructure. He's looking to see if the G7 can be a counter to China's One Belt, One Road policy. I think where this ultimately comes to a head is when the Senate has to pass the debt limit. That is the one thing that has to be done this year. That will be done through reconciliation. You have to do the whole process. And so if you're doing the whole process just to increase the debt limit, adding some other provisions like infrastructure spending is a very high probability. There's a backup chance of a bipartisan agreement. I think that is less likely than not. And so my view is once we know when the debt limit's going to be increased, probably sometime this fall, that's when we get the infrastructure bill. Our view, it's in the $2 to $3 trillion range, some paid for taxes, some of additional deficit spending.
All right, we'll be keeping an eye on when that debt limit is on the agenda. Ed Mills, great to catch up with you. Raymond James, Washington policy analyst.
Yeah, right. Let's have a quick look at some other stocks again in our list. Let's see how NIO actually is doing. NIO is at the resistance point, so yeah, it basically broke up. It's broke out of the resistance point, which was here, and yeah, this is really looks like that NIO is gonna go up. Let's have a look at 30 minutes. Because it broke out, one of the best points will be, I mean, honestly speaking, it went up, came back, and then go up. So maybe it doesn't even come back to this one for a while. But again, we wait. We don't chase these things. We usually try to buy stocks which are actually being hammered at the day, so then we can sell them at the day that when they are moving up. DraftKings, SoFi. Let's see if I can see something. Let me just remove this, and let's see. This. Is it breaking out down? I prefer to get these two guys. Yeah, this looks like more of it. Yeah, I don't know. I still not sure if I want to take this position or not. Long term, I think this is a very good company. I'm thinking actually more of a trade rather than Morrow and Riot are over 19% now. Yeah. Where's AMC? 10%. Yeah. Coin is 5.3%. So many of the positions are actually moving up again. So let me check Octa. Do I want to add to Octa? No. This is 3% up. The other hand, Moderna, Fuel Cell, Clo, Woozy, Microvision. I think Woozy was giving a sell signal. So this was a sell signal. I, of course, do not have the capability to sell in eToro. So this will be your, if you want to take 1.5, this will be your, let's say here. So this will be your trade here. You have the first swing high as your stop loss and then the rest. But again, I cannot sell in eToro and it doesn't give me the option. Let's check. Actually, it is interesting. Let's check if I have the sell. No, I only can buy Woozy on eToro. So eToro doesn't allow or doesn't have the capability to sell many of these stocks. So that's annoying, but well, that's what we got. Oh, no, Sony. Let's check Sony. How is this? Nothing really. Do I have ATVI? Yeah, I have it here. So gaming stocks are actually down. DraftKings is down. DraftKings is actually giving a sell signal. I mean, it is slowing down here, so I'm not sure, but it got bounced by the 200 EMA, so could be. I actually can sell DraftKings, just that I don't want to, because the momentum recently has been up, so I don't know, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Right, all right. What else? Tell me if you want me to check something else, but AGCN was something. AGNC? Yeah, this was the one. Okay, now it's going up again. But it really looks like wait a minute. 20. This is 50. Let's see, 50. No, it's not even 50. Yeah, okay. Anyway. Move this. Okay, I think at least for now, that is that. If you have any question or something, just let me know. Otherwise, I think we're gonna have the stream stop right now. I will be back for the market close, so we can have a look again at some of the stocks that are moving. Some of the big winners are Riot and Moroccan, SRNE, AMC. These are really moving up. PNGO actually is going crazy up. BNGO was giving not a down signal because this is actually finishing up, so you can see this is really the selling power. The move down trend was slowing down, but again, this one I expected this to be at least coming back to. I mean, again, there was some sort of resistance at this area, so but anyway, 650, like around 7 to 650 will be a interesting point for adding to your position for BNGO, because it will come and then boom, go back probably. Square up 4%. Those up now 2.3% only. Workhorse 3.3%. Etsy is up 2.5%. Etsy is really not moving much here. It's really just playing in this range. CRM. Oh, CRM went away from us. Anyway. Yeah. I think Okta is still, I mean, like valuation wise, I think Okta was crazy low, but I don't know. Like if it was here, then that would have made sense, but I wouldn't have taken this trade. This is in the opposite direction, so I don't like to do that. But Tesla 1.5%. But anyway, I think that's it from me. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope to see you again in the next stream. That is probably at the market close today. So have a nice day and thank you again. And if you like, please follow us. It will help the channel. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Click like if you liked it. And again, see you again at the market close. Thank you. Bye.